Hi everyone, good evening. So we have Mr. Pankaj Shrivastav in this episode. Let me just give you a brief about Pankaj ji. Pankaj ji is currently Head of IT and Chief Information Security Officer at Gujarat Fluorochem Limited, and he's also part of an Inox Group and has almost 20 years of experience into IT and cybersecurity. So we really thank you for taking out your time on such a short notice, and we are honored to have you here and get the opportunity to speak with you on IT, digital transformation, and cybersecurity. Thank you for your willingness to share your knowledge and perspective with us, sir. Thank you to Tech Defense.
Okay, thank you, Sunny bhai. So it's a total journey of almost 30 years on last month. So in 30 years of journey, there are so many things in IT. I see the evolution of the IT right from big tapes, big films type tapes, till the very small microchips, the storage side, very big systems like you say it's a mini computer or it's a mainframe computers to much higher compute in today's date on mobiles. So those sort of journey I have gone through it. So during this journey, it was a very interesting journey in IT. But I say, yeah, I worked for a very different domains, starting from the hardware manufacturing, the entire modeling, the sensors manufacturing, and this applications development, and all this interfacing, plus working with multiple domains also, multiple type of industries also. If I say the industry, the bank is there, the financial institution, the cement industry, manufacturing industry, the steel manufacturing industry, the central government organizations with agro industry, and state government organization with handicraft industry, and the pharma industry, and the entertainment industry like movie, and the other part which are working with the organization of Gujarat Fluorochemicals since last 15 years. So it started the journey with fibers manufacturing and integration of the entire SCADAs and the entire IT landscape with ERP, CRM, and all sort of digital platforms like BI and all. Along with this, the another journey started this integration of the entertainment business, integration of the multiple windmills, the entire IoT platforms, the complete ERP, CRM for wind industry, wind energy industry basically, and the chemical industry, fiber industry, adhesive industry, and now we are working for the complete transformation, and we are into energy domains also. We are coming up with the batteries, we are coming up with battery materials, we are coming up with some sort of the solar panel films and the H2 banks also. So the entire portfolio, if I see in my past and I see in my present, so there are many changes that happen, and there are many technologies we are having. So in the current portfolio, in the current technology trends, where we are and what we are doing, so it is slowly, gradually migration from the in-house data center to a cloud-based data center. That is number one. But that is a need in R also. But see, on the other front, other part, security is a major concern. Now we are moving all the applications, all the interfaces, all the devices, they are talking directly to the cloud. They are talking directly with multiple connection criteria. Somebody is talking from this SIM connection, somebody is talking from the LAN connection, somebody is talking from their mobile devices. So the number of connections, number of things which are talking together, interfacing the data and everything. So there are so many things happening in the security side also. So I started the security side. Why I'm talking about the security side? See, for any of the devices, a firmware. If your firmware is faulty, you are on a stick. So that is the very first and primary requirement to check the firmware. In my entire journey of 30 years, what I have seen, there are some technologies, just like AS400, they are technology of HPUX, and they are technology of IBM, power technology. So they are having their very tight firmware, and it's on machine language. Nobody can hack it. So these are strong platforms we need for the organization, we need for the industry. Unfortunately, we are moving somewhere where we don't have the strong platform. So first of all, we need to secure the entire new platform. Like what I have seen, where this industry has come up, like the security industry. If you remember, in 1999, the Intel chip was launched. The Intel chip, when it's launched, it was not populated as much as the other process manufacturing were there. Motorola was there, AMD was there. So they were equally good. And sometimes they are more efficient than the Intel one. I'm using the manufacturing name because people are so much familiar with it. So what happened? All of a sudden, a day, they realize and Intel opened the platform for everyone. Okay, come and integrate, come and develop. What happened? All the security loopholes were opened into the market. And that was the first point of starting an antivirus. There was a virus, and to cover up that virus, there was antivirus. The industry has started. Then again, the power processors were there, AMD processor were there, Motorola was there. Motorola was limited to their own devices and all. They come up with all these sort of computing devices. AMD was continued, and power was continued, and the other platform like AS400, they were continued, and you see the Itanium, it was continued. This Itanium, AS, and power, these three were the super secure platforms. Unfortunately, by the virtue of time, people just come out from these sort of platforms. So again, their entire infra, entire compute, entire ERP, CRM, and whatsoever platform they are running was on stake. At the same time, there was the evolution of the other technologies also. Some modems come up. Before modem, there was a TCP/IP. This coaxial cable was there. So novel network was there. Coaxial cable-based network was there. Then the people come up with small switches, and there is a 10 Mbps connection was there. Modem was there to connect with 32 kbps connection of internet and all such things. So slowly, gradually, these all network technology was growing up. Whenever this technology was going up, this firmware was open. They were talk and communicate with each other. They doesn't require any sort of APIs to connect both the things. They all were open, and anybody can connect with anyone. So because of this, all the security part was on stake. Whenever you had a single virus, it just spread out to the entire network. So this was that time. Then slowly, gradually, we designed our entire firmware for network also to be very hard, to talk within some limits also, to talk within the frameworks also, to talk within the device to device only, with limitation, with rules, with a number of other security parameters. So they created their own hard boundaries over there. But there was not the only network provider that was having this sort of. There are other, like Cisco was there, Nortel was there are number of other people, all of them evolving at that time. Everybody has created their boundaries. So there was a problem to communicate with each other. Then was the evolution of the number of connectors over there to connect with them. Then they come up with number of other technologies also. In between, there's the evolution of firewall. Then firewall devices, people say, okay, single firewall, we are safe. But they don't know how to create rule. The very initial phase, lot of people were running their firewall, but they are running firewall on bypass mode. Internet लाया, distribute कर दिया. They said कि yes, हमारे communication होता. There are 2 sides, 3 sides are connected, but they don't know what is the bypass mode and what is the access list based structured mode. So this was happening. After evolution of this technology, UTM comes up. And then UTM comes up, then people know कि yes, what is the, where we can have n number of means tight laws, tight rules, and the tight methods to communicate. And slowly, gradually, the entire industry has come upon UTM sort of platforms. But what the interesting for me to come into this technology, I worked for many of the other technologies also, as I said, yes, I worked for the SCADA technology, for many of the different SCADAs and IoT technologies, the ERP technologies with over 8 implementations of different sort of ERPs. So those technologies were also evolving, these technologies also, there were a number of APIs which connect, talk to each other and all such things. So in my starting days when I said, yeah, boss, virus aa gaya. So what is virus? What it does? It was very new at that time, yes, virus is something. So what we have learned at that time, the learning was what it does. करता क्या है? कहाँ जाता है? सिस्टम में कहाँ चेंज किया, ओएस में कहाँ चेंज किया, फाइल में कैसा चेंज किया. Why can't we hardbound such things? It is going to be changed. So what people like us starting searching, okay, antivirus is the second thing, but first we find it out ki okay, there are some changes in the registry, existing registry. We have backup of another registry that we have. It was time of Windows 95, the very first version, and Windows 98 at that time. So we just start checking and just where are the changes in the previous registry and this registry, and how can we hardbound this sort of registry entries. If something happen with any of the machines, what need to be done, where to change the address, where to change the number of keys, and how to make it more easier way rather than to just dependent on any sort of antivirus. How can we just make some sort of 70 to 80% remedy as first time. So that start thinking, okay, how people are entering from somewhere, where we can have a hardbound or hardening of the OS, hardening of the database, hardening of the user's profile, hardening of the applications. So this thought process comes up. All the CISO, all the CIOs, and all the people at that time, they will start thinking on this thing. How can we hardbound? Then the Microsoft has given so many patches. Those persons who are running on the other platform like Unix, Novel, this platform, they took their own ways to understand the virus methodology, how it works. Then after some time, the network technology comes up, the simple modems comes up, dial-up modems are there. Then there is a lease line sort of things. Earlier that was this PAMA and DAMA based satellite receivers were there. And they were very, very 16 kb, 32 kb, 64 kb connections. And we were doing so many multiple things on it. The remote locations we used to talk also as a phone on those technology. So then we find it out, yes, PBX is also there. That is again vulnerable because of these connections. So all the device that we are having, which is connected to the any sort of network, whether it's
Correct.
a Wi-Fi, whether it's a LAN device, whether it's a Bluetooth device, everything becomes vulnerable. And slowly, gradually, what other people did, we get the drivers, like printer drivers, firmware drivers. We can directly download from the manufacturer's site. And people start using their penetration of their malicious functions into the drivers also. The people used to download the drivers automatically. They get everything. So this sort of the evolution I have seen in my past journey. It's a very interesting journey that we had.
Great.
Thank you, Sunil.
Thank you for sharing the journey, sir. So you have all sort of experience into different industries, and currently you've been playing a versatile role as in head of IT and CISO. So my next question is, like, how do you, basically, cope up with the balance out of between technology and security both? Or rather, I would reframe the question, right? That a business needs a digital transformation at an agile way. They want to, digitalize everything to ensure that there is a right productivity. But with infusion of any new technology that you get into your organization, it comes up with the n number of security challenges. Now, one, you are implementing new technology. Second, you are assuring that the technology is safe. So how do you cope up with these challenges in your organization, and what are your learnings, between this race of infusion of technologies and dealing with the security challenges at the same point of time, sir?
See, it's a very interesting. Like I always used to tell all the people, just make a mark of IBM website, Intel website, all these OEM manufacturer websites. And I used to tell all my subordinates, just visit at least once in a week for all these websites. You get a number of very good information related to infra, related to the development happenings, and related to the securities happening. See, you rightly said we are doing lot many business transformation projects that we are doing. If I say we are going with RISE on SAP, there are another things like new Salesforce on this platform, then ClickSense on this platform, and we are planning to migrate many of the server, many of the IoT technologies on the cloud platform. So there two things are very important. Number one is the framework. The framework is very important. How you planning to migrate the entire things on this platform, number one. And this framework includes everything. First, the level of implementation or penetration into the organization. Over and above this, you need to understand the phase wise, what is the appetite of your organization. This is very important. On security fronts, we can have n number of security things, but before the security thing, we should go for the GRC, Governance System Compliance Audit. And during this audit and during this framework, you find it out, yes, how much license we require, how many people will use this particular module on this ERP, CRM, BI, the Ariba, and this number platform, and what's their role in the organization. To map their role, to map the security, to map the GRC. These three are very big pillars, which makes the every organization very cyber and the security resilient. This is very important. So I used to say, yes, there are a number of platforms available in the market. Everybody is ready to sell any sort of platform. They will give you lucrative offers. Sir, 31st December chal raha hai. 30% offer, 70% offer. Don't go for offer. Go for any sort of proper assessment of each and everything. People used to say, सर वो अटेंडेंस मशीन लगाइए, चाइना वाली है, ऐसा होता है. No. Go with the firmware. Check the firmware with any of the good assessment providers like Tech Defense, like anyone else. So they can find it out. Yes, is this framework, is this firmware is suitable for the entire communication or not? Is this Firmware is good for the health of my any data appetite and the network appetite. Does it getting interference with any of my other devices? Yes, it is very important. Whenever we design any network, it is very important to design the network in a good framework, so you can extend it anytime. You can get the good leverage of all the technologies plus the any Wi-Fi. If you are putting n number of Wi-Fi's, there are a lot much interference can be happen. If you are running any RF devices, yes, there is an interference. So you need to think it of all the angles. So because we are using RFID technologies, we are using this barcode technology, we are using the QR based technologies, there are a number of code, there are Bluetooth based devices for the dangerous or this sort of sites. So everything and everybody is communicating. You need to find it out. Yes, what is the communication method? Is it safe? Is this information goes to everyone, or this information is shared with everyone? Is this device is safe? Is this firmware is safe? So these are the very important factors.
Correct.
See, whenever you're making any building, you require a good good structure. Only on that structure you can build up anything. Interior design is something which is fancy, you can change multiple times, but the base architecture you can't change. So I said, yes, always be a good architecture, always be a good partner with who is having the good knowledge about the networks, about the interferences, about the compute, about the firmware of all, plus the having latest security frameworks that are running, plus the latest products, they are having all sort of capabilities. All products are not having all sort of capabilities. You always need to have mix and match of number of products. But I suggest everyone to have a complete mesh architecture. Mesh means mesh for network, but a complete fabric based architecture where all your devices can be connected with everyone, and all devices can be talk to each other for any of the incident, any of the things. Your SIM, SOAR, or firewall, UTM, or any of the device can take the decision and stop that any sort of incident at that place only. This is very much important. So whenever you said ki yes, business number of new business projects and everything we are taking and we are implementing, there's lot many things happening. So first 3 months we are investing only on the structure side, the structural, the networks and security. Then over and above we built up all the ERP, CRM, this platform, that platform, RFID platform, this all sort of things we are building up over and above it. So my entire thing would be safe for years together.
Great, sir. So I think very rightly pointed out that if you really want a building, the base has to be stronger, then only your structure will be stronger. Having said that, sir, you're the only few persons in India, who has an experience into IT, cyber security, and one more, the another vertical that is coming up in India, that is OT security. So with having experience on IT, OT, IoT, and security, all of them together, where do you see OT security in next 5 years from now? And what are the 5 initiatives every organization should take, in order to make the OT secure? Because most of the organizations are now connecting their OT with an IT, and there is an IT-OT convergence that is happening. And I'm sure your organization must have taken some steps in those lines. So which are the 5, simple tips or the 5 things that an organization or any C-level executive should take care, before making the OT connected to an IT?
So you rightly said, yes, there are a lot many happenings in the OT environment. If you see the certain guidelines, Government of India guidelines, the guidelines said ki yes, you are having 4 different networks. One is for VoIP, one is for your IT, third one is for your cameras, the surveillance, and fourth one is separate network for the OT. See, OT is a good network. People are the entire plant production, everything is running through OT platform, and to set up the entire OT platform, it takes a time to get mature and gives the desired output. But the very important part, first of all, it need to be separated from the your IT network. But we need the data, we need to connect. So in any of the organization, there are multiple SCADA servers. So first of all, I suggest everyone to go for any of the historian server over there. From historian, you take all the data and make a route over there with putting any sort of firewall which connect on certain interval only, not in real time. On certain interval only, it take the data from all these SCADAs and put it on a historian server. That is point number one. From that historian server, you again connect one more firewall, a single side firewall. It will not communicate on both the ways.
Should have a unidirectional.
Unidirectional.
Yeah.
Then access those data which you require for connecting of your IoT based platform, your ERP platform, your CRM platform, or any sort of other platform. For many of the reportings, many of the financial statements, budgeting, and other purpose, you can utilize that device. That's historian. But you must have historian in between along with 2 firewalls. That is number one. Then number 2, very important thing. So who is taking the data? You make some rules, some APIs or something which can take the data from one side only, and it should be taken directly to the server to server. Suppose I am taking the example like the OT environment. Why people are taking the data from any sort of OT environment? They are taking the data for their consumption of making the consumption norm along with the budgeted norms to check. Suppose the electricity for the X plant, they've given a budget for the as a product A manufacturing for 8 hours batch, suppose 300 units, and after completion of this thing, these units were consumed 300. Again, the entire process is going on, and they have consumed 400. To stop this sort of wastage, they are pulling this data. Most of the costing sort of things depends on the DCS part. BI analytics platform is data hungry from the IoT platform. So you need to have something which is in between, which is connected with 2 different firewalls. You can say there are different firewall flavors available in the market, like you can say it's a hard firewall. It's a 40 hard, sort from 48. Cisco is having their firewalls for the specialized for the OT networks only, because there is lot much sensors data, lot much other data, and people can make the connections through the port available for any sort of that was designed for any sort of problems or something where a network is not working. You can connect with those ports and you can get the data, but that was only for the accidental purpose, not for the regular purpose. People know it's written in all sort of contracts with any of the SCADA providers. So from those ports you can connect and you can get the data, but same time you can change the sensors, you can change any settings of it which directly impacts to your entire production. So it's very important to safe and secure a production side. So on this way, these 3-4 things are very much important. And time to time update of your firewall, time to time update of your UTM. It's not that any patch come, people just apply. Don't wait for some time. For any of the patch upgrade, take N-1. last minus one. Manufacturer or the developer wanted to have on your platform, you will be the victim of those sort of experiments. So wait for it. This is very important for any sort of patch. It's related to SCADAs, it's related to your historian, it's related to your networks or anything. So these 3-4 findings from my end.
Thank you, sir. So I believe we have got a great learning in terms of OT security. The first thing what sir said is a unidirectional gateway should be there. Second is who is accessing your SCADA is very important. And for that, what he talked about is a remote access. That's a secure remote access. The third is a very important is the regular assessment of your OT networks and IT network, which is connected together. And the fourth very important thing which he talked about is, yes, we need to have a plan to move out from legacy systems to an upgraded system time to time. But yes, to not upgrade it to a latest version, always have N-1. That's the rule or a thumb rule that most of the people follows. So with this, I have the very interesting question. So now to handle the security, the maker and the checker is very important. Most of the time, what you rightly pointed out in your conversation, people struggle to get the right sort of vendors or the right vendors, I would say that. What are the 5 things that you see in your vendors or the 5 things that make you choose your vendor rightly?
Okay. So see, in the security side, security is a big world. If I can say, it's a sort of the ocean, like the ERP is the ocean, same sort of security is the ocean. And data is the precious things which we need to secure from any of the victim, any of the enemies from the market. So whenever you select any of the vendor, first of all, check the certifications of the people, of their employees who are working on the projects. Give them very small assignment of any sort of assessment and find it out, the timeline, the quality of that assignment. You can have the same sort of a simple assignment or single assignment to any third party which claims to be number 1 or number 2 also, and just check the quality level, delivery level of both the things. The third, very important thing, you need to find it out whether they are registered with certain. If they are registered with certain, if they are having their sort of certificates, yes, they are the trusted person. Number 3. Number 4, always your any security partner should have the knowledge about your business, what is going on in the market. Like we are in chemical, we are into fibers, I can simply ask to these fellows, my competitor is doing this is happening in the market, and my IT comes in between in this way, and my customers are connected into this way. How can I achieve there? And these are some security points. Can you understand? If they understand these security points, if they understand the business points, to collate both the things and get a sync with them and align them with our business also. It's a both way practice. It's not a single way, yes, we selected you because of something, because somebody has recommended, I have selected. No. It's a complete exercise of 4 to 5 months. It's not a simple exercise that we can start any day. Somebody suggested someone, we start giving them these sort of things. Always ensure the audit quality. What tools they are using, what are the licenses of those tools, whether they have really used their tool or not, what are the outputs of their tools. They're very important. You can ask for the output of those tools. On the basis of that, you have prepared the report. Right? These are very important. Do they have licensed of those tools or not? If they are using if we are using or they are using any sort of open source products in the market, whenever we audit something or we are not doing any sort of testing, pen test or any other test, does my data is safe? Is my data safe? Yes. If it is safe on both the platforms, yes. And the very important part, the partner should be very much open with everyone. He should accept and digest both the recommendations from any third parties, recommendation from the customer also. And the last very important part, that partner should have the capability to get you aware about the new technologies and their current state, and if he will go with the next technologies, what the best value will come out from their end. So these 4-5 things are there. It's very important to selection of any partner. Unbiased.
So thanks a lot, sir. So 5 things he has talked about, very good for everybody, because it's always challenging getting a right partner. So the first thing, check the people whether they have the certifications or not. The industry recognized certificate, whether they are certain or not. Third, having a knowledge of their core business is more required. And the fourth is the right sort of evaluation or the POC or a POV to be conducted in order to choose the vendor. Sir, I'm moving a little away from the technical, side of IT and security. So, considering you've been handling a leadership role in such a large company, what do you do to motivate your team? Because retaining people, getting work done is always a major challenge, especially in the larger companies. What are the 5 things that you do to motivate your team?
See, yes, it's a very big challenge for all the industries and all the domains, not only the security, not only the IT, not only the production side. If you compare with our industry, is growing more than 45%, and the government of India has given some incentive to the chemical industry. So we are expecting a growth of 120% in next 2 years.
Great.
For all the industry, and all our competitors and we will make another 120 millions in the next 2 to 3 years. That's the report has been given by the government. So it's a tremendous growth. There is a lot of requirement of the skilled people. So always the HR people, they are just checking, okay, how much experience you have? Just come down, kitna milta hai? Yahan jao. No, don't take the persons who are changing frequently. Very first funda. Don't take the people who change within 2 years, 3 years, 2 years. Don't take. Please see, all these youngsters, what they are doing, they are just counting days. What I have seen. अभी 1 साल हुआ है, 15 दिन और करना है. I'm switching to another industry. They are not having a requirement of upgrade their skills, knowledge, experience and everything. Just wanted to change. First of all, you need to understand from any of the CV, there are so many AI based applications available in the market. They are making very beautiful designed fancy CVs. So on a very first sight you said, "Arey, banda acha lag raha hai." But you can't take it. You need to find it out. Is he perfect in all the domains? Does he have knowledge of all the domains? If he is having the knowledge of all the domains, then ask him what is his future plan, from which area he belongs to. It's very important. Many of the people nowadays, earlier the people leave the organization because of some policies, some bosses, some time and this sort of criteria. But now people are just changing. Especially young people are just changing their job just for fun. They are not serious enough. There is not much requirement in the market because after COVID there is a huge blast and everybody is exploding and expanding their business, they need skilled manpower. There is a lot of scarcity in the market of the skilled manpower. You find it all. Number one, the existing one. Number two, you are recruiting. So I am talking about the existing one. Just to mentor. There are two things are very important. Mentoring. Boss could not be a mentor. Any third person who is not a boss should be a mentor. And I suggest very simple things like whenever any third person who is not a boss is a mentor, will take him for a dinner along with family at least once in a month and just discuss about this something like what the business is going on, where we are, where our competitors are. The very important role of the family, the wife, the kids, they got, yes, what is the strength of the organization, where we are working, to make them feel proud. It's very important. People are not hungry for the money, they are hungry for their respect. Give them proper respect. Many of the organization, what I have seen, तो इतने साल से काम कर रहा है, किसी काम का नहीं. It's very common. Boss, every employer had to change their mentality if they have to retain their good skilled manpower. At least 40 days training in a year should be there. And there must be some rewards for their good things. Suppose spot on sort of thing. Somebody did something, give him immediate spot on recognition and publish it. Because they are hungry for their respects. If they are getting respects, they will with the organization. The fourth important thing, parties, food.
Great.
And the last, to show them their career growth, at least in a quarter. At least in a quarter. So what is the organization? Where we are growing? How many people are there? What we are expecting as per your KRA? Where you are? If you are here, how many people are in the top stretch? On this, what is your capabilities? What other things you require to be include in your curriculum, like some certifications, some addition, right? If you are extending something more and expecting something more from your people, they will deliver, 100% they will deliver. If they know where their career growth is there with the organizations. Make them complete visible in the organization. It's very important. So these 5-6 things are there. If they are connected with all these things, they will be with you always. And whenever you recruit someone, ask their family backgrounds. Ask about their parents, how they are treating their parents. If they are treating their parents in a different way, you will find out how much time he will stay with you. If he is treating their parents like a god, he will stay with you. If I give you a very good example, yes, 26/11 Bombay explosion. It was a history and it was a complete business case published in various of the MBA colleges and the universities. That the person they have selected and they are working from a very middle class family and they are having a good values. Because of those values, there was a shooting going on, but they were there to support their customers. The value plays a very big role, very big role. Some of the very big organizations, I work for ABG, they are having a value department.
Great.
And there are 400, at that time, there are 400 plus people are working for those departments. For all sort of purchases, all sort of commercial negotiations, all sort of deliveries, all things work connected directly with values. There were five values were there. Even though along with it, their KRA was linked with it. So this value system should be in the organization. So that will keep all the people honest, ethical, and good barrier for the long journey. Sir.
Great, sir. So, sir, last but not the least, you have elaborately, talked about technology, security. Most importantly, the question which I asked on motivating your employees, it really touched me, and I'm sure it'll be touching a lot of viewers who are actually viewing this as well. And this has actually changed the perspective, of me being an employer as well. That and that has given me an answer also at certain extent, that how do I retain the people, how do I ensure the right sort of culture to be set up in the organizations. So last but not the least question, sir, anything that you want to tell to the budding managers, IT managers who are going to be an IT head, aiming to be a chief information security officer, anything you want to share with them?
I suggest a very important thing, to follow their any sort of hobby is very important. See, the very important part. Suppose your hobby is to see movies, play guitar, to sing, to do something with the people, or jogging, this, that. Follow your passion always. The very important thing. Why I have to say follow your passion or your hobby? It will give you satisfaction. The very important part is satisfaction. Right? Once you're satisfied, then you start thinking about yourself. If you are not doing such things, so there would be something in inner mind was ये नहीं हुआ, मिले नहीं, हुआ नहीं. So follow your passion. Take your own time. Make your timetable accordingly. First, the very important, follow your passion. So second, the very important part, to just listen or to read the interviews of the CISO or the business heads. They will teach you the very simple, important part of the life. So they simply tell you what the mistakes they did in their journey and how they overcome from it. So you will learn those sort of things very quickly, very easily. The third, the very important part, always look on your career, where you are. The other people who have reached to some very higher position within your age frame, what they did is very important. So once you follow those people, automatically the competition will come within you. Yes, I have to reach this level. For this purpose, they did X, Y, Z, this, that. Because in the internet era, there are n number of courses, n number of knowledge is available in the market. Lot many certifications are free of cost. Lot many things are available on the internet. There are so many things which is paid, which is free, which is a quality of things. The number of this university are giving those sort of certifications. So you need to find it out. What is the stable things over there? Yes, whenever you join, before get married, join any organization, think it of whether I should go for CAT after 1 year or 2 years. Can I add some more value after having passed out from IIMs? Do I have the capability? If yes, hunt it. If you don't have, what is the next one? CAT नहीं करना, क्या करना? So there are ample of opportunities are there. Means why I am saying this thing? If you always hunting something, the speed will grow up, and that will reflect on all sort of era. See, after certain age, whenever you join any organization, the expectations from your family, from your friends, has grown up like that. Okay, he has joined, he is earning well, 2 साल तक देखते हैं, नहीं पढ़ता है, अगर नहीं पढ़ेगा इसकी शादी कर देंगे. Then the number of responsibilities has increased. Before having such things or having all these things together, how you can reach up to that level within certain age? This is very important. They need to think it of. But you need to balance your life, family life, professional life, and educational life, or I can say any passion life. They need to balance all these things. If anybody can balance, would be happy and satisfied and would be prosper. So these things are very important for any of the budding managers. And I wish all the best for all the budding managers to succeed in their life. Where I have achieved, they must achieve within 10 to 15 years. If everybody is doing, my country will achieve all this next to US within few years. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So we have learned very good things about IT, cybersecurity, digital transformations, life values. This is more important, and a lot of motivation that you have given it to budding managers by saying following the passion, follow someone who is at a certain stage, and just see what they have done in their career and what you can actually do, or what you can do in terms of value addition to your career in order to reach to that stage. But the most important is following your passion is important, right? Don't just go in a rat race like what others have been doing, and follow your inner voice is something which I also believe so. With this, sir, so we at Tech Defense believe the sharing is caring, sir. And that's the primary objective of such podcast with the C-level executives. Before this interview, I was actually talking to him. He said a very important thing, that if in cybersecurity, if the community of hackers are having a unity and they are uniting with each other, why not the C-level executive? And that's what we even thought of it. And that's why we created such kind of podcast, so that we bring a right message in terms of technical things to be followed, in IT and cybersecurity, and also certain motivation that we can actually give it to the fraternity of the C-level executive. And with that, so thanks a lot for taking out your time and giving such a wonderful answers to everything that I asked. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Sunny. Thank you, Tech Defense, for a wonderful evening. And it's sort of delighted me to have a good gesture by Tech Defense. I'm thankful to all the team members and the Sunny Bhai also. Thank you.
So this is not the end. Tune in for more podcasts like this. Thank you.